You are listening to the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. Sam Lubin and Joe Shasky coming at you every week with all the best Giants content that you need. Like, rate, subscribe, review, share, all that stuff. Keep listening because we're going to keep coming at you with all this Giants content. So got some short hops, I guess we can call it, some concerning short hops here. Basically, we're going to play the concern game in this last segment here before we get out of here. And I just kind of want your overall concern level on some of these chassis. We can do like a 1 to 5 scale or just define it however you want to. First thing I want to get into, Casey Schmidt. Since May 29th, it was a 14-4 win over the Pirates. That was the last time that he finished with a higher batting average that evening than he woke up with that morning. He woke up with a 324 average that morning, went to bed with a 342 average that night. Since then, he's hitting 190 with a 497 OPS, a 250 BABIP, which maybe there's a little bit of positive regression in his future, 15 strikeouts. He did get that one walk last night, though. It was a big one walk. It's been a struggle. It's been a grind for Schmidt at the plate. We all know about the chasing. We all know about his aggression. We've spoken ad nauseum about what the Giants are trying to do to kind of rein that in. Shasky, I'm kind of curious right now, what is your concern level with the struggles of Casey Schmidt?
It's a lot higher than I want to admit, especially when I look at his plate discipline. Yesterday, it was huge that he got that walk. It was huge. It was absolutely huge. And I know a lot of people are going to say, his discipline's been horrific since he came up. It has. He's a free swinger. I don't expect everyone to approach their at-bat the way Lamont Wade does. I do think that it's good when you're facing pitching, real pitching, not just a pitching machine, to have diversity of hitters. It keeps the pitcher guessing. You know, when you have Pablo Sandoval and then immediately after him, you had Buster Posey, there was something to that. Right? One guy could hit any bad pitch from toes up to above the head. And the next guy, you better come into the zone. Right? So I'm a big believer in diversity. Would I like him to draw a few more walks? It's undeniable. I mean, it's undeniable. But then he gives a big hit on Friday night, for example, or Sunday, he comes through with the big hit. So it goes both ways, but I am a little worried and I don't want to admit it because I do want to see his bat continue to improve.
Yeah, it is concerning. My concern, if I were to put it on a scale 1 to 5, I'd put it like a 3.
Okay.
Because he's not hitting the ball as hard as he used to either. Yeah. So hard hit contact in baseball is defined as anything that has an exit velocity off the bat of 95 miles per hour or more. In his first 19 games, he had 23 hard hit balls. And 14 games since then, only 14 hard hit balls. Ooh. So it's just the contact is kind of going down.
That's interesting.
2 things that kind of give me hope for him going forward.
Okay.
One, the defense is still there. The defense, he's not letting the slumps at the plate influence what he does on defense. Maybe there's like a mental error here or there. You know, he tries to go for a ground ball that maybe Crawford should have gone for, or a wild throw.
Okay.
Lots of defenders have that. The other thing is the Giants, this organization really values guys who have a command of the strike zone. They love Lamont Wade Jr. because he literally has probably a bionic eye that tells him what's a ball and a strike almost. So the Giants love guys who have command of the strike zone. Casey Schmidt doesn't seem to really have that command of the strike zone because he keeps chasing balls. Teams are really going low and away on him lately because they know he'll chase out there. Mm-hmm. But they're still keeping him on the big league roster, which means they clearly believe in him enough to where they're going to deal with these growing pains.
Yes.
Because and Kapler's talked about this a lot. He has on numerous times voiced support for Casey Schmidt. He almost gets annoyed sometimes when you ask him about it. He's like, I said this already, but I'll say it again, as I always like to reiterate. So the organization clearly believes in Casey Schmidt, that he'll break out of this. He's being able to make adjustments at every level when need be. And for a team that's so obsessive about having a beat on the strike zone, and they're not really sending Casey Schmidt down to get a better beat on the strike zone, I think that's a positive in that, you know what, if they're willing to ride things out with Casey Schmidt, I'm willing to as well.
I agree.
Hopefully he kind of comes around soon, though, because it's getting to the point where you're not seeing him in the lineup as often. And I like seeing this dude play because when he's playing, he's going to be in a good place. When he's a fun guy to chat with, he's got a fun personality. And I do think the more we see Casey Schmidt, the more Giants fans are really going to start to fall in love with him.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. And I just feel like he's really close to really sustaining. Like the glove is clearly there. The arm is there. All those things are there. But God, I just want to see him have another couple week stretch. That to me would solidify, like, okay, he adjusted from the teams and the league adjusting to him.
Yeah. I think he can do it. It might be a bit of a process, but again, he's a rookie. I guess,
Yes.
but you ask some Giants fans, he's the first rookie ever in baseball history to have growing pains in the middle of a season.
So unfair.
Moving on, the Giants at home, back home after a 6-0 road trip. Our own John Dickinson, super reporter, boots on the ground, was at Oracle Park last night. And before the game, he asked Gabe Kapler, about the struggles at home. And this is what Kapler had to say.
We love playing at home, and we love playing in this ballpark. And we're excited to be back off the road and get ready to play in front of our home fans. I think sometimes we read a little bit too much into home road splits as Major League Baseball teams. Particularly when we have a lot of advantages here at home, right? Like probably most importantly, hitting last in any game. I guess all of this is to say that I understand why you're asking the question. I also personally wouldn't read too much into records at this point for home and road.
So, Shasty, really quick, by month in April, the Giants were 7-7. They were 9-6 at home in May. And after last night's win, they are 3-4 at Oracle Park in June. Are you at all concerned about the Giants in their ability to win games at home right now?
No, it feels like it's just a matter of time. And I also feel like a lot of that was built up at the beginning of the year. I don't have the numbers to back that, but I'm not worried, if I'm being totally honest. I'm just not. And maybe I should be.
Well, Shasky, it's funny that you say you don't have the numbers to back that, because I do have the numbers
nice.
to back that. So in April, Giants were not a very good team at home or on the road. They hit 240 at home in April. In May, they started to pick things up. They hit 265 at home in May. Here in June, it's kind of been a bit of a slower start. They had the Orioles that first series, and then that absolute dud of a series against the Cubs when they were coming back from Coors Field. They're hitting only 228 in June right now. That doesn't include last night, though, so they're probably that's to be a little bit better. Overall, they're hitting 247 at home with an OPS of 713. The league average is 252 with a 743 OPS. So the Giants, overall, they are hitting below average at home. But two things. One is the slow start in April absolutely factors into that. I think we can all agree that this is not the same Giants team now as we saw in April.
Yes.
And two, Shasky, it's been 24 years at Oracle Park. How many times have we ever said, man, the Giants sure hit well at Oracle Park this year? Like, they never hit well at this ballpark. It's a good ballpark.
Such a good point. I'm having so much fun. I don't have time to really worry. Like, I really don't. There's so many great stories on this team. It feels like they're outperforming on a variety of levels. Anybody that's losing their mind about road, home splits, come on, man. Think about where we thought this team was going to be after the
still pitching really well at home, though. Like, that's
exactly.
They make, again, a tough April. They were 4.43 ERA in April. Again, April sucked. Pretend April never happened. A 3.53 ERA in May. They're getting better. And they have a 3 ERA in June so far against the Orioles, Cubs. And again, that does not include last night's start against the Padres. But that was a win. And that's what we're talking about, is their ability to win at home. I'm not concerned about the home record either. They are better on the road than at home. That much is undeniable. But again, the last 24 years, that's basically been kind of the status quo for Giants baseball. It is a pitcher's ballpark. And you know what? They're pitching really, really well at Oracle Park. And they're finding a way to get wins at Oracle Park, in part because of the pitching. And that has always been the formula ever since the Giants moved to the ballpark. So no, I'm not concerned that much about the hitting at home either. Last thing I want to kind of get your concern level on here. It's the walking wounded. You've heard of the walking dead. We got the walking wounded here on the Giants. Here's a list of all the Giants who are hurt in some way. Alex Cobb has a left oblique strain. He's going to be out for a couple weeks. Schmidt, obviously, he was hitting last night, but he got hit by a pitch on the right elbow on Saturday night. He was day-to-day. Scott Alexander's out with a hamstring injury. John Brebbia with the lat strain could be out for 1 to 2 months. Mitch Haniger, we might not see him till September, if at all. Wilmer Flores has a broken foot. Ross Stripling has a back strain. He's dating rehab starts in Arizona. How concerned are you about the health of this team right now?
I'm very concerned, and it starts with the starting pitching. I'm not so much worried about some of the everyday players. To me, it's the starting pitching. If they cannot get some of these guys back, like an average oblique time that you're out for someone like Alex Cobb is a month. And for pitchers, sometimes more than that. And so I'm very worried about him being ready to go and coming back and being a contributor for this year. Like, they need him. He's been their second best pitcher. They need him right now.
He was in a borderline all-star conversation probably before he went down. I mean, I know you're concerned about Cobb. John Brebbia's absence is what worries me the most. So because what we were saying a little bit earlier, and the role he plays as the opener in 6-7 starts as the opener, he's only allowed a small handful of runs. He's been very efficient with how he gets through those innings. There was the start against the Cubs. I believe it was that Saturday start when they got that one hit where Kapler before the game kind of joked, if Brebbia could, throw 7 innings and 17 pitches, we'd let him do that. Brebbia went 19 pitches that day in over 2 innings. And obviously the goal is always for him to kind of get that second inning, but it's always kind of let's see how that first inning goes. Yes. And Brebbia has been really good at getting through the first inning really clean and getting into that second inning, which in a bullpen game, the more innings, if you can get that extra inning from Brebbia, that really helps the rest of the game.
It does.
Scott Alexander was the only other opener aside from Ryan Walker. He'll be back a little bit sooner, but losing Brebbia really, I think that's a tough blow, because even when he's not the opener, he's still one of the Giants' most reliable and durable relievers. So that is 100%. An absence that you cannot overlook. Before we get out of here, Shasky, our final thought here. Some news broke on my drive home. The Cincinnati Reds announced that they were releasing Will Myers, who is a noted Giant killer. Here are his numbers at Oracle Park: 273, 349 on base, 517 slugging, and 866 OPS. It's this third highest OPS, minimum of 50 plate appearances, he has at any ballpark. He's hit 11 home runs at Oracle Park, his 4th best of all other ballparks. By the way, the 2 stadiums that he has a higher OPS in, Coors Field, Chase Field. Giants play a lot of games there. Shasky, I feel like we're kind of beyond the whole taking a flyer on random guys. Will Myers has always been a guy where it's just like, oh, I hate it when he comes to the plate. Why can't he just be a Giant? Would you take a flyer on Will Myers?
Pass. Yeah. They've got enough outfielders. I want to see what they've got in Matos. I want to see, what they've got going when it comes to McCrary at some point, Vaughn Brown at some point. Like, I want to see those guys before I want to see Will Myers. Will Myers just doesn't do it for me.
2 years ago, probably I'd be all over this.
A year ago.
But, yeah, even a year ago. But I think that kind of is a testament to where things are at right now. Will Myers is the guy who would absolutely fit in this ballpark, apparently. And he can go on the market. He would be a vet minimum. He'd only be taking up space. And we're just like, I don't think we need him. And hopefully, if the Giants do pick him up, it won't be like a Matt Beattie situation where we're losing our minds over it. I would be okay with it. But at the same time, yeah, Giants are in a position where, and I think this shows the growth that you're seeing in this organization right now under Farhan, where you don't need to take flyers on these random guys hitting the market anymore.
Totally agree.
That just shows the positive direction that this organization is in. So thank you very much for joining us this week on this episode of the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. Giants hope to make it 9 in a row tonight against the Padres on a City Connect Tuesday night. I'm repping my City Connect gear today. I had the shirt, hat, socks, lanyard. I went all City Connect today. So for Sam Lubman and Joe Shasky, it's the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast. We will catch you on the next one.